Hey guys, it is March the 12th. I am wearing my Golden Girls dress and realizing that again, I have I have bought a size or 4 too big, so I will need to do some emergency sewing before I wear it out and about. But good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wolfram, for your Modly Mod duty. Tammy Bogart, good to see you. Super T, hope you're having a good morning. Colorado Mountain Girl and Jem, good morning. Tammy, CA, and Lori Ann. Everyone, we have so much news and so much crazy. With the first one being, and again, if you had this on your bingo card, I'm going to need to talk to you about lotto numbers. Because if you had this on your bingo card, you are psychic. Scott Peterson, the infamous wife killer, was beat up by a fellow inmate during a prison yard pickleball match. Scott Peterson was beaten up over pickleball. 2025, you have outdone 2024. I thought 2024 was going to be the year of our, clown. 2025, you are stepping up to the plate and representing. I can't even with this. But here we go. This is news. Infamous wife unaliver Scott Peterson got beaten up by a fellow inmate during a prison yard pickleball match on Sunday, according to a report. Now, Peterson, 52, who was playing a game of pickleball at Mule Creek State Prison in California, when another prisoner took exception to the convicted murderer's playing style and served him up a butt whooping instead. New York Post, we should not be having this much fun about a man getting his ass kicked, but I mean, honestly, if anything's going to be a disappointment, it's Scott Peterson. That being said, now the inmate was reportedly set off by Peterson smashing the ball directly at his body during the match and aired his grievances in the form of both hooks and jabs, according to TMZ. Although he suffered injuries, he did not go to the hospital, TMC reported, citing prison sources. Now, Peterson was convicted in 2004 of the killing of his 8-month pregnant wife, Lacey, who vanished on Christmas Eve in 2002. Lacey was initially reported as missing from the family's Modesto, California home, but her body was found in the San Francisco Bay, April 2003, just a few miles away from where Peterson had told police he had gone fishing. He was arrested just days after the body was found. Now, the apparent pickleball enthusiast was convicted of first-degree murder of Lacey and second-degree murder of the couple's unborn son, Connor, in 2004, though he has continued to claim that he is innocent. Quote, "If I have a chance to show people that the truth is, or what the truth is, and they're willing to accept it, it would be the biggest thing I can accomplish right now because I didn't unalive my family," Peterson said in a 2024 three-part Peacock series called Face to Face with Scott Peterson. Now, last year, Peterson's case was reinvigorated by the Los Angeles Innocence Project, which has advocated for the convicted killer to enter a discovery process to attempt to prove his innocence. Yeah, because just like, Casey Anthony and, Jodi Arias, it was a conspiracy of epic proportion, I'm sure. Now, Peterson is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. The case infamously inspired best-selling book and Emmy or award-nominated film Gone Girl. Now, Mule Creek State Prison did not respond to her request for comment. Well, don't be aggressive when you're playing pickleball with convicts. I didn't think that this was something that one would have to be told, but there you go. Don't play hardball pickleball with convicts in a prison. You might get beat up. In other strange news, now, I have not watched this show, so I don't know what it's about, but apparently the wife of Ghost Adventures star posted an eerie photo a week before she was arrested in a murder-for-hire plot, as you do. Apparently, this is us happy family, but I'm still, sourcing people to unalive you, I guess. The wife of Ghost Adventures star Erin Goodwin posted a picture of them cuddling with their pet cat a week before she was arrested for allegedly trying to plot his murder with the help of an incarcerated convicted killer. "Cuddle puddle with my boys," Victoria Goodwin captioned this particular Instagram post. The eerie image showed the paranormal investigators' hand on Victoria's leg with their cat between them as they lounged on the couch. Now, she also posted a photo of her smiling alongside Goodwin for a mini golf date on Valentine's Day in Las Vegas. "Mini golf with my Valentine," her post read on February 14th. So for all of you out there, if you ever get jealous of other people's Insta life, they might be showing, cute little couple post pictures while they're actively trying to unalive their spouse. So don't listen to Instagram. It is a liar. The Ghost Adventures star, 48, also gushed over his wife over the date when he showed Victoria mid-stroke with the caption, "My Valentine always beats me at mini golf." That's what set her off, I guess. Her winning all the time. She's like, "I can't stop winning." This is terrible. On March 6, Victoria, 32, was arrested and charged for solicitation to commit murder and conspiracy to murder. An investigation allegedly unearthed a wicked murder-for-hire plot through messages with an inmate at an undisclosed Florida prison. Yeah, they look at those communications at prison, so maybe don't, try to red rum someone with a guy from prison. She had allegedly been messaging the inmate identified as inmate Grant Amato. Grant Amato? Are you flippin' flapjack kidding me? The guy who red-rummed his entire family because of a cam girl in Bulgaria? Holy flippin' flapjacks. That's the guy that you go to for help? Since October 2024, openly expressing wanting to red rum Goodwin to get out of her marriage, according to a police report first obtained by TMZ. Well, you might know something or other about ghosts, but you surely didn't understand that prison communications are looked at. A for effort, D for denied, and F for don't be so effing stupid. Now, Amato killed his family after stealing $200,000 to wire the cash to a woman in Bulgaria whom he'd been speaking to on an adult website in 2019. Now, he is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole at the Tomolka Correctional Institution at Daytona Beach. Now, the convicted killer was featured in the Paramount Plus true crime documentary Control Alt Desire. Police say that Victoria told them she was watching the documentary and became pen pals with Amato. So you see this little penis-looking man who unalived his entire family on a documentary showing how he unalived his entire family, and you were like, pen pals for life. Do what now? Someone please explain the stupidity to me, because I cannot. Now, she allegedly offered $11,515 to pay for the job, and the police claimed that Victoria made a down payment of $2,500 to have the ghost hunting, star, her husband, killed. Victoria also allegedly passed along information about her husband's location to Amato to provide to a hitman he was communicating with to pull off the kill. Now, the 48-year-old paranormal investigator was allegedly filming Ghost Adventures in California when the hit was intended to happen. "He's asleep right now in the hotel room. I need to know what's going on. Can I get an update? Was it done?" the inmate texted the hitman, according to the police. Well, look. She beat him at mini golf. She had to get out of the marriage. It was unclear what happened that stopped the alleged hit from going down. Now, Victoria has denied ever wanting to have her husband killed. She is being held on $100,000 bail and had her initial court appearance on Tuesday, Clark County Jail's show. Goodwin was allegedly, quote, blindsided and devastated at this turn of events and, quote, thought he was in a happy marriage, sources told TMZ. Well, I'm sure most people think they're in a happy marriage before a hitman comes. Most people don't admit that they were the a-hole, but yeah, I would be blindsided too. The couple tied the knot at Disneyland's Haunted Mansion in California on August 2022 and also live in Vegas. The paranormal cameraman is best known for his role alongside paranormal investigator Zach Bagans on Ghost Adventures. Bagans told TMZ that it is an emotional time for his ghost hunting co-star, and he's trying to give him love and support. The two have been friends since Goodwin of Oregon and Bagans of Illinois moved to Nebraska around the same time in 2005 to pursue filmmaking and have worked together in the public eye since Ghost Adventures premiered in 2008. So I'm going to guess that they're probably getting divorced now. I mean, oh, good Lord. I don't know. Well, Disney is pulling back on Snow White premiere as controversy surrounding the film grows. Yeah, I would just, honestly, I would scrap this movie and take the tax, write off. I don't think anyone is wanting to see the new Snow White. Between the, casting of Rachel Zegler, the dwarfs looking uncanny valley and weird, and changing the general idea of the entire story. Not to mention, can we be real? Gal Gadot being afraid that Rachel Zegler is more pretty. Especially when she has a Lord Farquaad haircut. Looks like this premiere will not be the fairest of them all. After suffering intolerable backlash over the forthcoming live-action Snow White, Disney has decided to scale back its usual over-the-top premiere in Los Angeles, reported by Variety on Tuesday, March 11th. Instead, the studio has allegedly opted for a quiet, laid-back pre-party and screening at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, California on March 15th. Unlike the usual red carpet, Snow White stars Rachel Zegler, 23, and Gal Gadot, 39, will not be answering any questions from media outlets, as Disney has allegedly handpicked only a few photographers and house crew to cover the high-profile event, because Zegler can't keep her mouth shut. I mean, recast her or make the evil queen win. Now, Zegler plays Snow White and Gal Gadot stars as the evil queen. Both stars are expected to attend the premiere next week, probably not holding hands or looking at each other, just if you saw the Emmy, Oscars, whatever stupid award show I didn't watch, but people dressed up naked, as per usual. Now, Disney did not comment when contacted, to ask about these change of plans. Snow White will hit theaters on March 21st, with a thud, I do believe. However, the Mark Webb-directed film has been bombarded with controversies following the decision to replace the fairy tale's 7 dwarves with magical creatures of all sizes and genders. Many accused Disney of being too politically correct and woke. Others took issue with Zegler, a Latina actress, being cast as the lead. Even Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage, who has dwarfisms, shared his critiques. Because Peter Dinklage took his step stool, got to the top and wants to take it away for every single other little person actor. This man has come off, in my opinion, as more of a douche than normal Hollywood people. It's reality. These were roles that actors with dwarfisms could have used. Yes, they're cliche. Yes, they're, typecasting. But maybe you're a really good actor here and it gets your foot in the door for something else that isn't dependent on your stature. Peter Dinklage has played many roles that were, I'm sure not dependent on his stature. But you have to get your first job somewhere. So Peter Dinklage speaking out just was ridiculous. And then you've got this chick here. So if you if you want to go watch this new Snow White and you like it, it is A-okay. I am behind you. I will not be watching it unless you guys would like to pay me for my emotional trauma / bar bill after it. I will give a drunken review. But it's Lent. Do I really need to hurt myself more when I can't have chocolate? That being said, if you guys want a drunken Mo review of this travesty, I will do it because I love you all. Now, y'all, maybe I have become too cynical, but I don't see any problem with this. Quote, stuffed it in his mouth. Embalmer accused of castrating deceased man after finding out he was an offender. Again, I see no problem with this. I kind of say, okay, don't worry. I mean, where's the crime? I know that's wrong. I know it is desecration of a corpse. But, you know, I kind of don't see an issue here. A Texas embalmer is facing abuse of corpse charge after she allegedly cut off a dead man's bait and tackle and stuffed it in his mouth. Now, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit, authorities began investigating when the Harris County Constable's Office, Precinct 1, received a complaint from a Texas Funeral Service Commission. The complaint was lodged by funeral director for the Clare Brothers Funeral Home, which operates memorial, mortuary, and crematory, where the incident allegedly occurred. Now, the funeral director said employees alerted her that a 34-year-old Amber Page Loudermilk, a licensed embalmer, had mutilated a corpse. After learning the decedent, 58-year-old Charles Roy Rodriguez, was a registered offender. Loudermilk allegedly took a scalpel on February 7th, cut off a part of his manhood, and stuffed it in his mouth. She told an employee, a trainee who was a prepper for another body, who witnessed the incident, quote, you didn't see anything. I saw nothing. Not one damned thing. I am blind in one eye and confused in the other. I saw nothing. Like, you could not get me to, like, I'd be like, and? Had I gotten this information as the funeral director, would I call anyone else? I'd just be like, don't do it when there's witnesses. Come on now. Again, reason number 11D12, I did not join the mutual, or I guess it's the memorial, mortuary services. Now, the employee perceived Loudermilk's manner to be threatening, according to police. Other employees then went to see the body. Loudermilk had allegedly covered his groin area with a sheet and said he had a lot going on with him. Now, according to the offender registry, Rodriguez was convicted in 2008 of essaying a woman, and he received 10 years of deferred adjudication, Constable Alan Rawson said in a statement. This case is about two troubled people, the victim who was a registered offender and the defendant who's accused of viciously attacking his deceased body, Rawson said. No matter what one thinks of his life, the law requires that he be treated with dignity and death. Well, then I say we repeal that law. Rawson said that Rodriguez's sordid past does not excuse the defendant's behavior. Quote, I don't know the suspect's past, but we have the utmost empathy for anyone who's been the victim of SA or is in the family or has a friend who has been a victim of SA, Rawson said. The facts clearly indicate that she was angry, and I hope after this is resolved in courts, she gets the help she needs. I mean, honestly, y'all, I just hope that she goes around teaching other people how to do this, allegedly in Minecraft, that being the case. And welcome Double Jeopardy State of Mind, U.S. That is an interesting name, and I'm glad I got it all right out without mixing up the words. Now, Loudermilk turned herself in to the Harris County Jail on Monday and has since posted a $5,000 bond. Her attorney could not immediately be reached for comment. Local NBC affiliate KPRC reports that she no longer works at the facility, and the state will seek to suspend and or revoke her embalming license. Ooh, awesome sauce. I know, I'm like, how is this a crime? I know we're not supposed to desecrate dead bodies, and that's how you get Pet Cemetery and everything like that. Like, I get it, but where's the crime? He's dead. Had no one seen what she did, Would we have noticed? Because don't people generally have pants on when they're buried? I mean, I don't. Like I said, my career aptitude test said I'd be great with dead people. I did not go into that particular, line of work, is all. Probably because I can't handle live people all the time. In interesting news, it looks like a female prison guard is now being accused of SAing inmates, including the notorious suitcase killer Heather Mack. So, interesting news, but it looks like guards can be bad, both female and male. Suitcase killer Heather Mack is among the group of women claiming to have been SA'd by a former corrections officer at Chicago's Metropolitan Corrections Center, the Post can reveal. Brittany Hall, 31, was indicted by a federal grand jury on March 6, charged with SAing for inmates while she was a guard in charge of supervising the MCC's Unit 12. Hall, who resigned from the U.S. Bureau of Prisons last year, has pled not guilty to the charges, which carry a maximum sentence of over 80 years. Now, Hall worked at the MCC, while Mack, who is serving a 26-year sentence for conspiring to kill her socialite mother at a luxe Indonesian resort in 2014, was detained there between November 2021 and September 2024. Mack has been transferred to a correctional facility in West Virginia at this time. Now, sources confirmed to the Post that Brittany Hall was present at Mack's January 2024 sentencing in Chicago's Durskin U.S. Court, and the reporter also saw Hall in the courtroom. Text messages viewed by the Post show Mack and Hall corresponded via a third party before and after the sentencing, making it clear that Mack had already told her attorneys about the alleged abuse and did not want to be contacted by Hall. "Ask her why I'm blocked," one of Hall's messages read. Mack was 18 and pregnant when she went on a vacation to Bali with her mother, Chicago socialite Sheila Von Weiss Mack, in August 2014. 10 days into the trip, she used her mother's credit card to buy her boyfriend, Tommy Schaefer, a $12,000 plane ticket to the island. Within hours of his arrival at the St. Regis Resort, Von Weiss Mack was dead, bludgeoned by Schaefer with a metal fruit bowl as Mack watched. The couple then stuffed her body into a suitcase and loaded it in the trunk of a taxi and fled the scene. When the cab driver noticed the bag was leaking blood, he alerted the police. Both Mack and Schaefer were arrested at a budget hotel the following morning. Now, Schaefer was found guilty of first-degree murder and is now 10 years into his 18-year sentence at Bali's notorious Kerbokan prison. Now, Mack was dealt a 10-year sentence for her role, but was released in November of 2021 after serving 7 years. She was deported to her hometown of Chicago with her daughter Stella, now 10, who was born in a Bali prison. Upon arriving at O'Hare Airport, Mack was arrested and detained at the MCC. In June 2023, Mack pled guilty to conspiring to kill and was eventually sentenced to 26 years in prison. The 2014 killing of Sheila Von Weiss transfixed the world when it emerged that she was the widow of famed musician and educator James L. Mack. He was a regular conductor for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and an in-demand arranger and composer who worked with legendary musician Ramsey Lewis and singer Nancy Wilson. His daughter was raised in a $1.5 million mansion in Chicago's affluent Oak Park, where her mother Sheila, a political science graduate, staged Paris-style salons for literary events and chamber music concerts. Mack was set to be the beneficiary of a $1.6 million trust from her mother. So, I mean, I guess there are many suitcase unalivers. We might have to relook at that thing. I will say it does seem, I mean, I know it won't be double jeopardy for us here, but I do wonder how the United States can charge her when the unaliving was over there, except that they charged her for conspiracy, and maybe the conspirosity, happened in Chicago. I love when I answer my own questions. Good morning, Captain Kern. Now, y'all, I don't know who I need to tell this to, but come here close to Mama Mo. Don't eat styrofoam packing peanuts. I don't know why you would. I didn't know that this was a warning I had to, hand out. But apparently, there is a trend of people eating packing peanuts because who knows why. This trend is nuts. People are eating biodegradable packing peanuts under the assumption that they are edible, much to experts' dismay. On TikTok, online shoppers claim that the biodegradable packing peanuts make for the perfect bedtime snack, arguing that the foam pieces are completely edible because they dissolve in their mouths. Just because something dissolves in your mouth does not make it food. Cyanide, baking soda, flippin' flapjacks, snowflakes. What are people? I can't. Did anyone know that Lush packing peanuts are edible? Well, run one beauty lover on a TikTok video and then showed her popping one into her mouth. Thank you. It's a Golden Girls dress, but you guys, okay, so I'll go to main screen because as I said, I am not used to this new current body, so we have a lot of, like, basically it is about 4 sizes too big, so we got a lot of taking in. This is supposed to be the waist. Obviously, the waist doesn't go on the waist with me. But I have figured out an easy sort of sewing fix, so I think I can do it without getting all of my machine and all of my materials out. So I'm hoping that I can figure it out because I kind of have it. And let's see, I got this on Unique Vintage. Now, you guys, y'all know I am El Cheapo, so I have stalked this dress like I am on a freaking safari looking for, I don't know, Scar the Lion. So I have watched this dress for about a year, and then when it went on double clearance, I was like, sold. But that's kind of that's where I look for my vintagey stuff, and they tend to have a bigger selection of good, well-made, curvier sizes. That being said, always look to make sure that they're sizing in America size versus UK. UK tends to run a little bit smaller, so do be mindful of that when you are on Unique Vintage because some of the things are UK styling. So thank you all so much. I felt the need to get a little bit dressed up today because, yesterday was a bit of a day. So I always find that if I dress up or have like an outfit that I like picked out the next day, regardless of pain level, I get a little excited. Oh, I know. The UK, I don't even want to imagine what the UK would say when I went into a dress shop. They'd just be like, we have nothing for you. I feel like it would be that Mean Girl thing when, she was eating all those building buffness bars, and then she's like, I'm not a size 5. Now, back to the article. The personal care brand packs its shipping boxes with EcoFlow chips, an alternative to typical styrofoam peanuts that are instead made with a potato starch base to make them dissolve in water and soil. Now, biodegradable does not mean edible, warned one viewer. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, chided another. Girl, those packing peanuts have probably been on the ground and touched by I don't know how many people. Please don't die, cautioned another one. While some TikTokers said they finally don't feel like a weirdo for their strange snack, experts warned that the sustainable packing peanuts probably should not be consumed. Not to mention that some biodegradable packing peanuts aren't made from edible ingredients. Best case scenario, eating eco-friendly shipping materials could cause bloating, pain, and gas. Worse, the process in which potato starch peanuts are created forms a known carcinogen or a compound linked to cancer. Now, Thrive Lab nurse practitioner Angelica McGough told Dish that excessive heat used to make the packing peanut causes a formation of acrylamide, a carcinogen with ties to endometrial and ovarian cancer. Many vegetable oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed excessively, contribute to an imbalance which promotes chronic inflammation. Inhaling cooking... Okay, I don't understand how we went to vegetable oils when we were talking about peanuts. That being said, warning for you guys and us gals, inhaling cooking fumes and consuming heated oils has been linked to lung, breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer. Okay, then can we bring back peanut oil for the fries or beef tallow? McDonald's, I'm looking at you. Bring back beef tallow. Because, I mean, I'm here for it. Now, in a sad reflection of my state, Final Form Jesus has been activated. I cannot believe that I have to report this, but in my state, and I am not upset that they are trans. What I am upset about is that this inmate is in prison for unaliving a baby, and now we have to pay to get his... Why don't we just get that embalmer? Now we got to pay for his schmeckle to be removed. Well, I say we get that embalmer and put it in his mouth. But that's just me. Allegedly in Minecraft. A federal district judge in Indiana has once again ordered the State Department of Corrections to arrange a sex reassignment surgery for a transgender inmate convicted of reckless homicide of a baby. Now, personally, I feel if you've destroyed something innocent, we let general population worry about your sexual transition. Allegedly in Minecraft. The case is now on its second year and involves inmate Autumn Corleone's request for a reassignment surgery. Let me see if they've got a picture of this absolute jackass. Now, you guys, I want you to know that this beautiful woman over here is a what is it? A vegan? No, not a vegan. A polytheistic, what are the name? They're not witches, they're druids or Wiccan, a Wiccan Muslim. Now, I want you to remember what Islamic countries do to polytheistic religions. They're not halal, they are haram. So it involves Autumn Corleone's request for a reassignment surgery. The American Civil Liberties Union, well, I'm glad they found something to really, fight for all people, first filed a lawsuit against the Indiana Department of Corrections in 2023 on behalf of Corleone, challenging an Indiana law that prohibits the Department of Corrections from using taxpayer funds to cover reassignment surgeries for inmates. The ACLU argues that the law is a violation of the Eighth Amendment's prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. I don't care. The court ordered that the commissioner of the Indiana Department of Corrections should primarily enjoined to take responsible actions to secure Miss Corleone's gender-affirming surgery at the earliest opportunity. Judge Richard Young, a Clinton appointee, wrote on a March 5th filing, Miss Corleone seeks to extend the injunction for a second time for reasons that follow her motion to renew or extend preliminary injunction is granted. Now, Corleone, born Jonathan Richardson, sought out another injunction as the one issued in December last year expired on March 6th. In its order granting the motion for preliminary injunction, the court acknowledged that the surgery may take time as it is provided by a surgeon who is not affiliated with either the IDOC or contracted medical provider. So it's therefore the court's intention to renew his preliminary injunction every 90 days until the surgery is provided, the document states. Now, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, I didn't vote for him. I tried to get him out, y'all. I tried. This man has made us look stupid with the Delphi stuff for years and years. And a bunch of other stupid stuff. That being said, he is still the Attorney General because people continue to vote for him. But again, not me. The Attorney General argued that the Eighth Amendment does not require the state to, quote, provide experimental treatments generally, and it certainly doesn't here when multiple doctors have said this inmate is a poor candidate for surgery, a spokesperson told Fox News Digital. The brief also contends that Indiana's law, which went into effect in 2023, is not sex discrimination under the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause because it bans sexual reassignment surgeries across the board. Convicted murderers don't get to demand that taxpayer foot the bill for an expensive and controversial operation, Rakita told Fox News. It lacks common sense. We won't stop defending our state's ban on using taxpayer funds to provide these operations to prisoners. In the ongoing case, a key issue was the evaluation by psychologist Kelsey Beers, who was tasked with assessing Corleone's eligibility for the surgery. Beers concluded that Corleone was not a suitable candidate for the surgery, stating that his distress was not due to gender dysphoria, but rather stemmed from her diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. Beers further noted that Corleone displays an established pattern of attention-seeking behavior. Despite Beers' conclusions, the court ruled that her report did not justify reconsidering its decision. In summary, the court finds that Dr. Beers' report does not present a significant factual development that would cause it to reconsider its grant of injunctive relief to Ms. Corleone on her Eighth Amendment claim. Now, the ACLU's original lawsuit on behalf of Corleone asserts that the inmate was diagnosed with gender dysphoria in 2020 and had been prescribed female hormones and testosterone blockers, which Corleone has consistently taken at that time. The lawsuit further claimed that Corleone has been provided with accommodations such as panties, makeup, and form-fitting clothing while incarcerated. Yeah, because we all want to get to see this all made up and in a smexy dress. Again with the eye thing. Look, I apologize greatly. I know it is a weakness in me, but for the love of God, that lazy eye I want to follow where the eye is looking and I cannot pay attention. That's why I took his picture off and I said his. Look, you unalive a baby. I don't feel like I should have to respect whatever you feel. I just don't. No. Now, the lawsuit states that gender-affirming surgery is now necessary for Corleone to alleviate this dysphoria. Quote, she believes that is the only remedy for her persistent gender dysphoria and the serious harm it causes her. It is to receive gender-affirming surgery, specifically an orchiotomy and a vaginoplasty. Now, according to the ACLU, Corleone, who has identified as a woman since age 6, is a woman trapped in a man's body. Okay, here's the problem with this vaginoplasty too. He's going to have to wear use dilators. This is not a simple surgery. There are so many complications. You have to be on top of all of this stuff. I mean, you're basically creating a surgical wound in the body. It's just, you unalived a baby. I don't have to care about whatever the F you feel or whatever you want to identify. You can identify as a Martian helicopter. I don't have to care. See, I care and want to respect other people in the general world because I don't want to be an a-hole. But if you are an adjudicated a-hole, then I don't feel like I should have to give you any respect. Now, in 2001, after we get through this whole, this guy, he has gender dysphoria, we get to the part why he's in prison. In 2021, Corleone was convicted of strangling with his own hands, strangling his then wife's 11-month-old daughter to death when she was at work. Now, during an initial interview with the police, Corleone was described as calm and unemotional while recounting the incident. So, I say if he really would like his, bait and tackle removed, I know an embalmer. I know an embalmer. And she'll take your wiener and put it in your mouth. It'll be a catchy tune. We'll figure it out. Also, if you are that embalmer and you would like me to tell your side of the story, I am here and willing to listen. Unless it would get you in trouble for the non-crime that you did. But after you've been adjudicated, come on out here. I will print out a certificate of appreciation from the Church of Mo. We will have a motism, if you will. You get to come to the Church of Mo and be baptized by appreciation for your work for humanity. Because let's be real. I mean, if we had it in our powers and we knew someone was a gross, disgusting human being, we all might be tempted to do about the same damn thing. Now, we do have a Lord Chippy contendant. All Lord Chippy assistants, please get to your spots. Get to your... All right, this absolute piece of human garbage. This guy here. Man dumps newborn in a gas station dumpster after 16-year-old gives birth to his baby. We can go extra slow and backwards, though I do need the embalmer on our team because I think he's lost use of his bait and tackle. A Tennessee man has been indicted on a slew of charges after he allegedly impregnated a 16-year-old girl and then threw the newborn in the gas station dumpster after she gave birth. James Booth, 45, was indicted by a grand jury Wednesday on 2 counts of trafficking for commercial acts, promoting prostitution between ages 12 and 18, continuous SA of a child, and aggravated statutory rape. Memphis police began investigating around 9 a.m. on January 27th when officers responded to a suspicious call in the 3100 block of T-Rock Lane in the Fairwood Apartments. Once there, a 16-year-old girl flagged down cops and told them that her friend named James had dropped her off after she gave birth about 2 hours prior, a criminal complaint said. Cops later identified the man as Booth. Now, the girl told cops that Booth was driving her to the hospital because she went into labor. But as they were driving there, she gave birth to a baby girl. The teen alleged that Booth took the baby from the seat and placed the body in a black trash bag and threw the remains in a trash dumpster behind a Shell gas station on Shelby Drive. She said she had been in a relationship with Booth for about 3 years. The officer went to the gas station and unfortunately found the deceased baby located in the bag inside the dumpster. Now, police have not released a cause of death for the baby. Surveillance video showed that a man fitting Booth's description drove up in a black Infiniti SUV and walked to the dumpster, throwing a black plastic bag away, according to the complaint. Screw you, dude. Screw you with the biggest freaking cactus I can find, since apparently I will be taking trips to Arizona. I will find one. And no offense to anyone that lives in Arizona. Look, it is too hot, it is too dry, and there are not any trees. It's just not a place that has spoken to me ever as a place to go visit. I do know that I carry, a distinct anti-Arizona, vibe without having ever gone there. So, I am willing to give it a chance, but I just, why Arizona? Well, in the next 3 or 4 years, Mr. Mo and I may be able to move to a place that's maybe a better climate for my condition. Unfortunately, apparently dry, humid, or not humid, and in the mountains is Arizona, Nevada, and I think New Mexico. Slinky, I say you just hand him over to the Church of Mo and we will take care of justice for you. I really do think that we should we really should. We should, offshore justice to the Church of Mo. Now, cops did locate Booth, who reportedly admitted to picking the girl up from her home and taking her to his home. Now, Booth originally was facing abuse of a corpse charge before last week's indictment. The cops have not publicly released details about the trafficking and prostitution charges. Booth does remain at the Shelby County Jail on a $1.25 million bond. Yeah, don't let him out. And as for what happened to the newborn, newborns are incredibly fragile. It was January. He put a freezing baby outside in a trash can. That baby's not going to survive. You know, I was hoping that maybe someone from the gas station heard crying and went out and saved the baby, but oh, yes, I remember that case. So this sounds so much like a case here, but the police officer unalived her, making it look like self-harm. Yeah, I saw that, and how anyone could believe that that was self-harm was so dumb. And then she typed out a note. No one types out a note. We need a good story, so here is a good story about the bestest friends ever. A donkey befriends an outcast chicken, and the two become instant besties. Sometimes animals that you wouldn't think would get along become instant best friends, and that's what happened at Sunny Acres Farm between a donkey named Pedro, well, because we always vote for Pedro, and a chicken named Elsa. Their parents called Elsa an outcast chicken because a couple years ago the other chickens were attacking her and Pedro saved her. Since then, the two have been inseparable. Elsa also has frostbite on her toes and hates the snow, but since Pedro is her bestie, he carries her to wherever she needs to go on his back. They love spending time together, and it's absolutely adorable and so fun to see them together. In the caption, their parents say, "There's a lot of interspecies love here on Sunny Acres. I'm so glad they shared this with us because it's heartwarming to witness. It's clear that the donkey and chicken have developed a special bond and enrich each other's lives. I'm not the only viewer who thought so. People left thousands of comments about the sweet video." A viewer, Paul Pardon, shared, "Donkeys seem so loving, great caregivers and protectors, and best friends are so amazing." And apparently there is a phenomenon where chickens will peck each other to unaliveness for dominance or illness, or they sense one of the, chickens isn't doing well and they peck them to death. I don't know why. Let's stop chicken on chicken violence. Everyone gets chickens and donkeys. Vote for Mo. 3 chickens and 2 donkeys on every home estate. And I guess heartwarming, but also, yes, heck yes, you didn't get away with it. It's Independence Day. It is Judgment Day, and the guilty are gonna pay. And yes, did I watch Martina McBride before I got on? Hells yes. Yeah, we can play it, but you guys won't be able to hear it. Aww. Okay, now I need a baby donkey and a chicken so they can be best friends. It's Nugget and Donkey. And okay, you guys know I would make Donkey talk in, Eddie Murphy's voice, like, "I hope my wife doesn't see me messing with a chicken," because she's a dragon. And I know they were abominations, but I love the little donkey dragons from Shrek. Also, have you seen the new Shrek idea? Ew, they changed all the animation. Stop remaking my crap if you're not going to do it well. Now, in 1975, a Maryland woman was murdered, but it was recently solved with the help of an old cassette tape and a mugshot of the victim. I'll have to send it to her. The 1975 murder of a Maryland woman was finally solved with the help of an old cassette tape and the mugshot of the victim, according to authorities announcing this Tuesday. The cold case of Roseanne Sturtz, who was strangled to death after meeting her assailant at a bar on August 24, 1975, was a mystery for decades until Howard County Police revived the probe last year and uncovered evidence of a convicted killer already in prison committing the crime. Detectives discovered a 1981 audio tape in which Charles William Davis Jr., then incarcerated at Jessup Correctional Institute, was asked about the murder in exchange for not facing charges in the case. At the time, Davis could not identify Sturtz, who lived in Baltimore and went by Anne, as one of his victims after he was shown a photo taken of her several years before her murder. But Howard County Police Corporal Wade Zufall then brought Davis from the same jail to police headquarters last year to interview him again 44 years later. He showed Davis a more recent photo of Sturtz in her in a mugshot from a month before she was killed, and this time he identified her as one of his victims and admitted to the slaying. Footage released from the interview shows Sturtz nodding his head as he looked at the photo. And she was a beautiful young lady who didn't deserve to be taken out of this world. So I'm glad that we finally have a name and justice and someone to kick someone's ass. We have an ass to kick, and we just got to get our boots on now. In November 2024, we are grateful to have all case details learned that Roseanne's actual date of death and receive closure that we've been praying for all these years. Finally, to put to rest the answers we never had, her family said in a statement through the police department. Davis told police after meeting Sturtz at a bar, the pair got into an argument before the murder. Davis landed on the authorities' radar in 1981 after police studied Davis' confirmed victims and compared them to Stewart, Zufall said during a press conference. Davis cannot be charged with a murder but he is already in prison for life for the other killings. His main reason why he wanted to talk to me was to give closure to the family. Oh, well, I mean, a kind murderer? It's probably getting close to that, life deadline end, and he's like, I don't want to go to Hades. I better be good. Allegedly. And the Menendez brothers are back in the news. It does look like with the changing of the guard for the DA, there might be change in kind of what is going to be going on with this case moving forward. I have not gotten very into this case. I do remember my mom watching it religiously, and I just thought they both looked really weird. Oh, yeah, are you good night? Did you lose power? Because I know power is... Oh, dang. Well, I hope you have some blankets and dang it. And they're working on the power. The Menendez brothers' lawyer blasts new DA after resentencing announcement, quote, serially abusing them with his lies. Lyle and Eric Menendez's lawyer, Mark Garagos, did not hold back his criticism of newly elected Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Honchman. During a tense live interview on The Today Show Tuesday, March 11th, Garagos laid into Hochman after the DA said in a press conference on Monday, March the 10th, that he would not recommend resentencing for the Menendez brothers because they have, in his eyes, not accepted responsibility for the fatal shooting of their parents, Kitty and Jose Menendez, in their $5 million Beverly Hills home in 1989. Many Menendez family members disagree, Garagos says. He said that about 22 members of the Menendez family met with the DA's office to advocate for the brothers' release and begged the office to, in Garagos' words, quote, stop re-traumatizing us. Quote, we could tell at the meeting that Hodgman had no interest in that, Garagos claimed. This really kind of points out one of the fallacies, if you will, of the DA's office here. They're not interested in victims. Okay, but Okay, they did both unalive. I get that even if they were, say, doing it because they were abused, but they still, the people that died were the victims. I mean, there isn't a single living victim who endorses this. In fact, every single living victim wants them out, he continued. This gentleman, this DA, re traumatizes the family repeatedly. He's almost serially abusing them with his lies and his litany of lies. One of Hockman's alleged lies, Garagos told today's Savannah Guthrie, was the assertion that the brothers' claim of self-defense was fabricated. Quote, he keeps saying they were claiming self-defense. They were not claiming self-defense. They were claiming what's called imperfect self-defense, said Garagos. The jury did not convict. The first jury did not convict. That was a hung jury. When the judge took away the imperfect self-defense, he basically directed a verdict the second time around. Now, following a 1993 mistrial, Eric and Lyle Menendez were convicted in 1996 and sentenced to life in prison without parole. They have since fought for decades to be released from prison, insisting, as they claimed in court testimony, that they murdered their parents because they feared for their lives. Their father, the brothers claimed, had SA'd them both for years and threatened to unalive them if they told anyone. Now, on Monday, the DA said his office would only support the Menendez brothers' resentencing if they denounce their self-defense argument and admit to 16 lies he claims they told about what happened before and after they killed their parents. But in Garagos's eyes, Hochman is just showboating. He knows for a fact that the brothers were cross-examined for weeks in the first trial. Every single one of those things that he mentioned was either abandoned or cross-examined in the first trial, Garagos said. And guess what happened? 2 juries, not one. One for Eric, one for Lyle. Both juries voted against murder over the majority. Hochman is just trotting out the same old things, and he's re-traumatizing the victims. Anna Maria Balrit is one of the Menendez family members who has spoken out against Hochman, appearing on NBC's Top Story with Tom Lamas on Monday night. Eric and Lyle's cousin pushed back against the DA's claims. They have apologized, they've shown remorse, and they've taken full accountability to the public, she said. Hochman wants them to agree to his truth, not their truth, not the truth, in order for them to support his resentencing. The family-led Justice for Eric and Lyle Coalition has also spoken out against Hochman, writing in a statement obtained by People that in his press conference, the DA made it clear today that he is holding Eric and Lyle and our family hostage. Perhaps most alarming, however, the statement continued, was Hochman's not-so-veiled insistence that they were not SA'd. He instead sent a message to every young boy who's the victim of SA that they should not come forward or tell the truth, because he's demanding as much of that from Eric and Lyle right now. I don't think he sends a message to every child who's going through SA, but I do understand where they're coming through. I just think that's, or coming from, I just think that's a bit overwrought in the language. Now, ultimately, the courts will have the final say in whether the Menendez brothers are resentenced, which could make them immediately eligible for parole. A resentencing hearing is scheduled to begin March 20th. There is also a pending request for clemency by Governor Gavin Newsom that is already underway. At Newsom's request, the California Board of Parole Hearings is currently investigating to determine what risk to the public the brothers would pose if they were indeed free. So, if you are a victim of these kind of crimes, please tell someone and get help. I hope that, it's fine. And, well, thank you so much for showing up, and have fun with Broken Baker and Tom CPU. So that's kind of where this story is sort of staying. So we will, I will try to keep up on this case. I do know that we had a Lori Vallow translated being from heaven hearing yesterday, so we will probably do that tonight. We are going to continue on the Petty Express with the Stacey Rodriguez, Colorado versus Stacey Rodriguez case. And you guys, I have I got a I got an assignment. I feel so useful. So I have been tasked with going through 900 boxes of photos and putting together a little reel of photos of my mother-in-law. And I found Baby Mo and baby Mr. Mo from our wedding. Yes, I wore purple. Yes, I was 6 months pregnant. But what can you do? Yes, I was wearing Spanx to hide the bump, and I'm sorry to my oldest boy child. But Baby Mo, who knew she was going to be a streamer? She just thought she was, well, not wearing white in a chapel because, pregnant and such. And such. Oh, we were such babies. Look at. I showed Mr. Mo. He was like, oh my gosh. But I am glad to have a task, that's something that I can do to help. And finally, my semi-passable knowledge of Canva will help, and I can make a reel with some transitions to be shown and let people see, real pictures of their mom from everywhere and scanning them. So I am so excited because I don't do well when I don't have a purpose. And I think, when you know someone is sick and there's not really anything you can do, you want to feel not useless, and I'm so happy I feel not useless now. Though, my goodness, this woman has so many pictures. I hope I can get through them all and pick out ones that everyone appreciates, because and of course now I'm talking to myself and getting myself all Twitter pated, like, okay, well, we got to get good pictures. It will be fine. But I am glad that, I have something to do. Now, in a scary story, but I did want to make you guys aware of it because I wasn't aware of any of this. But if you are on these certain medications, apparently these have been long-standing warnings that doctors don't clearly communicate to patients. So drugs taken by millions in the US can cause deviant sexual behavior, including PDF file sort of behaviors. And patients are not being warned by their doctors. So it's not a funny one to end, but I did want to give you guys this information because I was like, holy schmololi. A class of drugs commonly used to treat movement disorders like Parkinson's disease and restless leg syndrome is pushing people into risky sexual behaviors. Patients taking dopamine agonists say the drugs have triggered uncontrollable impulses, including flashing, sex addiction, and even offender behavior, leaving them struggling with feelings of shame and confusion. Now, reports reviewed by the BBC suggest that drug maker GlaxoSmithKline has known about the risk of so-called deviant sexual behavior since 2003. Yet patients claim that their doctors continue to fail to warn them about these potentially devastating side effects. Now, dopamine agonists mimic dopamine, a key brain chemical which controls movement and is activated by pleasure. However, these drugs can overstimulate feelings of pleasure while dulling the brain's ability to recognize the consequences of our actions. This can lead to impulse control disorders, with studies showing that 13 to 24% of Parkinson's patients on dopamine agonists develop them. While warning about these risky behaviors is listed alongside common side effects like nausea, insomnia, research suggests that they often go undiagnosed or unnoticed. In the US, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that these type of drugs only be used for a short term, such as end-of-life care. In 2003, a report from GlaxoSmithKline, reviewed by the BBC, described 2 cases of deviant behavior in men who were prescribed dopamine agonist of ropinirole for Parkinson's disease. In one, a 63-year-old man SA'd a 7-year-old girl. The report said that the perpetrator's libido had significantly increased from the start of his treatment, and his problem subsequently resolved after his dose was reduced. At least 20 women were prescribed dopamine agonist for restless leg syndrome and told the BBC that the drugs ruined their lives. Many said they weren't warned about the serious side effects and had no idea what was causing their erratic behavior. One woman, Claire, recounted how she began leaving her home in the early hours of the morning to search for sex. About a year after starting the ropinirole, which had initially relieved her restless leg syndromes, she began to experience overwhelming and unprecedented sexual urges. Like she would go out wearing a see-through top and jacket. She would regularly flash her chest at any man she could, despite having a partner. There remains an element in your head that knows what you're doing is wrong, but it affects you to the point where you don't know you're doing it, she told the BBC. Now, Claire said it took years to connect these urges to her medication, and they disappeared almost immediately when she stopped taking it. She now feels deep shame and is mortified about the dangerous situations that she put herself in. In many cases, the women told the BBC that their doctors failed to assess the impact of the medication on their bodies over time. Sarah, who began taking a different dopamine agonist in her 50s, said that her previous low sex drive skyrocketed to the point where she became fully addicted. She started selling underwear and explicit videos online, organizing phone smecks with strangers, and compulsively shopping, racking up $30,000 in debt. To cope with the effects, she turned to self-medication, using pain-relieving opioids and sleeping pills. Ultimately, Sarah ended up in rehab, but it did lead her to lose her driver's license and her job. I turned to things that weren't healthy. I knew the behavior wasn't me, but I couldn't control it, she told the BBC. Now, a class action lawsuit was filed against GlaxoSmithKline in 2011 by 4 Parkinson's disease sufferers who claimed that the drug led to gambling debts and broken relationships. They also argued that despite studies linking the drug to such behaviors as early as 2000, GlaxoSmithKline had failed to include warning in its product literature until March 2007. Now, the case was settled, but GlaxoSmithKline denied liability. In a statement, GlaxoSmithKline told the BBC that ropinirole has been prescribed more than 17 million times and has undergone extensive clinical trials, and added that the drug has proven effective and had a characterized safety profile. Quote, as with all medication, its potential side effects, and those are clearly stated in the prescribing information. Could you make a medication that could give me like an ab or put my boobs back to where they were when they started? I mean, could we have a good side effect like, I don't know, perpetual wonderful breath? I don't know, dreams of Henry Cavill every night? I mean, could we have some good side effects? No, it's like explosive diarrhea and you feel disassociated from yourself. But does the pain stop? How about this, chemistrologist? Could you make something that doesn't make us feel like absolute poo? Could you do that? Now, in response to its 2003 research that found a link with deviant sexual behavior, GlaxoSmithKline told the BBC that this was shared with health authorities and that information updates in prescribing information, which now lists altered or increased sexual interest and behavior of significant concern as side effects. GlaxoSmithKline did not immediately respond for the Post comment, but Jesus is not impressed. That being said, I will see you guys at 10 a.m. for the Petty Express. We are going to be on day 5. Still, hopefully, Doogie Howser will be reading letters that are an indictment to the federal education program. That being said, we have gotten some gems from that trial. Like, you are my whole ass soulmate. That was a declaration of love, in case you didn't know that. Now, I have decided I will make a t-shirt about that. But, I just can't figure out if I'm going to write it whole or hoe, because I need to figure that one out. But there you go. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. And if you haven't heard it today and you need to hear it from a mama, I love y'all just as you are. You're just fine. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. But carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness no longer equals doormat. Bye, you guys.